dance to.
Look up to the sky, you can see her fly, her head up in the clouds, waving bye-bye. I'm her only friend, no one understands. She's a fragile kind, like china in my hands. So on this late afternoon, she flew apart like a balloon, to be the first girl on the moon, rotating round and round, and never coming down, coming down, 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 coming down. Never coming down, down, never coming down, never coming down, down. She's keeping what she's found. Never coming down, down, never coming down, never coming down, down, never touching ground. To be the first girl on the moon, never coming down, down, never coming down. To be the first girl on the moon, never coming down, down, keeping what she's found. Never coming down.
Floating like a kite through the dark of night, wherever she might go, I'll be by her side. Longing for the day I can hear her say, I'll be coming home when all will be okay.
So on this late afternoon, she flew apart like a balloon, to be the first girl on the moon, rotating round and round, and never coming down, coming down, 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 coming down. Never coming down, down, never coming down, never coming down, down. She's keeping what she's found. Never coming down.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another live stream here on the Sean Easy YouTube channel. Nice to see you. Happy to have you. Now, I'm sorry I didn't go live a lot earlier. I actually set this live stream for like 8 hours ago, I think it was. But I gotta be so honest, the live we did yesterday, and I was live for like 9 hours, I didn't even go to sleep before that. Because right before that, I was at work for like 10 hours. I had gotten off at like 3 a.m., came home for like 3 hours, and then we went live at 6, all the way until pretty much the time I had to go right back to work. You know, that's how it plays out sometimes, you know, for things like, you know, I want to take YouTube seriously. That's just the kind of things I have to do, I guess. So I go to work, get off, live stream the whole time, go back to work, running on no sleep. Last time I went to sleep was like a day or so ago. So then I get off at 3 a.m. again, get home. What you think I'm about to do? Not about to just stay up for like 3 hours and go live again or something. I guess I just fell asleep. So here we are, 6 hours late. My bad. That's my fault, you know, for scheduling this live stream for 6 and you taking it seriously. Just kidding. Anyways though, hello and welcome to another live stream. We are going to be talking about the Take-Two interactive earnings call that took place yesterday. And like the title suggests, the release date is still November 19th. And prior to the earnings call, I actually did assume that the release date would still just stay the same at November 19th. I didn't actually assume that it would like get delayed or something. I don't know what everyone was talking about, you know. And it was weird to me, like even during the earnings call when we saw that the release date was still November 19th, still had a few people in the comments just saying it'll probably get delayed again. But I was seeing too much info during the Take-Two earnings call that I don't see it. All right, let's talk about this Take-Two earnings call, because we didn't even go through the whole Take-Two earnings call. We pretty much listened to it live. And I just let like Strauss, Carl, and Laney do their talking. But there was quite a bit of information that they were throwing out that really was intriguing me during the webcast presentation. About a half hour prior to the earnings call going live, we got all these details like the investor presentation, earnings release, or the earnings presentation, all that stuff. We looked at the earnings release. We scrolled right down to the bottom, and that's how we saw that GTA 6 was still on schedule for November 19th, 2026. So it's not getting delayed again. Another thing that really intrigued me also, that really explains that it's not getting delayed again, is that their initial outlook for fiscal 2027 includes net bookings of 8 to 8.2 billion. Now, I'm not used to them thinking they're going to make $8 billion. They're not. It's not a thing they usually do. It's not even something they expect. Even at the previous May, they thought they were only going to make like maybe 6 billion. Maybe 6 billion for 2026. They made a lot more than that, but they thought maybe they could make 6 billion. It's kind of interesting that a year later they think that maybe they can make an extra 2 billion on top of the 6. Because see, the thing is, they've usually only been used to making like 5.5 billion. 5.5 billion's kind of the thing for Take-Two. That's like where they're at with income. They made 5.33 billion the year before, and then they gave an initial outlook of 5.5 billion. A year later, they did make 5.5 billion or so, and then, you know, I don't know. 8 billion? To even forecast that you're gonna make 8 billion, that kind of tells a story in itself. Net bookings were 5.28 billion for fiscal year 2013 or something. I don't want the prepared remarks. That's my bad. Earnings release. Okay, so they only made 3.4 billion the year prior, but they didn't acquire Zynga yet. So they used to only make like 3.5 billion. They acquired Zynga. Now they make like 5.5 billion. So it's interesting to me that they think they're gonna make $8 billion. And it's not that interesting to me, actually. But when I saw that they said initial outlook for fiscal 2027, including $8 to $8.2 billion, that right away just, that alone told me a lot. We read an article way back in the day, like years ago. Okay, well, the article is definitely buried pretty deep now. But there was an article back in 2023, and the reason the article's buried so deep now is because all these new articles are coming out and talking about their $8 billion thing. But before yesterday, there was only one article from 2023, or maybe more articles, talking about how Take-Two Interactive were pretty much saying that they were going to make $8 billion in fiscal 2025. They were saying this at the end of fiscal 2024. Like, or no, they said it back in 2023, but they were thinking that for fiscal 2025, they forecasted that they should make in the range of $8 billion. When it actually came to fiscal 2025, though, they didn't say $8 billion, they said like 5.5. So it's interesting that they went from thinking they could make like $8 billion for fiscal 2025 to saying now that maybe they'll make 5.5. That's a whole $2.5 billion difference. So I thought that was interesting, you know. Thought they were going to make an extra $2.5 billion somehow, some way. A lot of people were thinking that was the release window for GTA 6. And even with the Strauss-Zelnick interview that he had done recently, when he had talked about when GTA 6 was originally supposed to come out, you can search Strauss-Zelnick, type GTA 6, and there's this interview from 5 days ago. Now, specifically in this interview, he pretty much just said that he knew that GTA 6 was coming out November 19th. It's been announced, you know what I mean? Like, he's been doing so many interviews lately. But yeah, in this, essentially, he said that GTA 6 is 18 months behind the original scheduled release date. So, if that means November 19th, 18 months before that is like May 2025. Now, that technically wouldn't be fiscal year 2025 anymore, but that's close enough regardless. Either way, when I saw this $8 billion being forecasted for fiscal 2027, that told me all I needed to know. Is that GTA 6 really is coming out like by March 31st or something. On November 19th, because that is fiscal year 2027. We're currently in fiscal year 2027. Fiscal year 2027 will last until March 31st, 2027. I don't know. A lot of people are still doubting things about this game. They just think it's still somehow going to get delayed. We don't have a trailer. We don't have more screenshots. They want more screenshots. We don't have pre-orders. We don't have a cover art. They want it all now. They wanted it months ago. And because they haven't got it yet, it's just this game is fucked or something. Not sure about that, I guess. I will say this, though. One thing to think about, okay? One thing to think about. Forgot what I was going to say because I was messing with this default thing. I remember what I was going to say. GTA 5 Trailer 3. Now, I know everyone's sitting around waiting for Trailer 3, but one thing to consider is that the third trailer for GTA 5 didn't technically come out until about, like, 4.5 months until release date. So I know we're getting really close to the release of GTA 6. But something like the third trailer of GTA 5 did not come out until 4.5 months before the game came out. Obviously, gameplay trailers probably not going to come out for a couple months before the game comes out. I'm a little confused about pre-orders. I figured we would have had pre-orders already. Pre-orders are seeming kind of late to the party. And I don't know how late cover art feels because Cover art usually gets announced around this time anyways. GTA 5 got their cover art announced around April. That was, I don't know, 5 months or so before the release date. 5.5 months or something. Yeah. Something like that. Alright, so there's a little bit to uncover with the earnings call. Like I said, what we did yesterday, and I kind of ran out of time, was we just listened to what Strauss Zelnick, Laney, and Carl said. And then when it got to the Q&A section, I kind of just ran out of time. What I would like to do is I would like to re-listen to the earnings call from the beginning. But I would like to pause here and there. I think I'll be able to do that, obviously. Like, we'll be able to hit pause. And after Strauss Zelnick says points that I would like to respond to or, like, make a reaction to, I'm going to do that. And then we should listen to, like, the Q&A section, because I definitely did not listen to the Q&A section yesterday. We got to the Q&A section, and I hit pause, or I muted it, because I had, like, 10 minutes to go before I had to go. I ran out of time. And I just gave my reaction to pretty much everything that I thought I heard in the earnings call. They were saying some things. Now, I know people didn't really pick up on some things that they were saying, but I would just like to react to some of the things that they were saying, even if it has nothing to do about GTA 6. Just a lot of really interesting details with the company. I'm going to read chat for a second. Do you get paid to make these videos? I make these videos and do these live streams because I'm a fan of Rockstar Games, Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead, and things like that, and just because I like doing it and being on YouTube, and it's nice when you guys, an audience, comes to make the chat interactive. I saw a poster that the trailer 3 would be end May and pre-orders early June. Nice. Hello, Amir. Why Take-Two does not only talk about GTA 6 investing? Because Take-Two is bigger than just GTA 6. They own lots of things. You know, they own Rockstar Games, 2K, Zynga. Even if they own Rockstar Games, it'd be weird to say, why are they talking about LA Noire? Why are they not just talking about GTA 6? Well, they're talking about LA Noire because Rockstar Games fucking owns LA Noire. So obviously they're going to talk about LA Noire sometimes. Or God, why are they talking about Red Dead? Because Rockstar... Never mind. Anyways, 2K owns Rockstar Games, or Take-Two owns Rockstar Games, 2K, and Zynga. So I don't know why people sit there with their fucking hands in the air when they're talking about everything that Take-Two involves themselves with, which is like all this stuff. God, why are they going on and on about NBA 2K? This is fucking stupid. Talk about GTA 6 already. Fuck. Like, what are you guys talking about? They're talking about everything. Did you guys know that mobile is literally the biggest platform for video games? While you sit there waiting for some game coming out on, like, fucking console or something? Console's tiny, okay? Console barely scratching the surface. It's all about mobile. What the hell is this? Why? How come Why does Take-Two not only talk about GTA 6? Like, what are you talking about? Hello, Sylvester. What's going on? I heard investing. I heard something interesting. Marketing starts summer, but trailers aren't marketing in that sense. We could still get a trailer on the 26th. For sure. Definitely. GTA 6 trailer 3, June to August. Plus, I think August is going to be another quarterly earnings call. Well, you don't have to think that. They do quarterly earnings calls every August. July 2nd is 4.5 months away from release. Right. And I don't think, like, when trailer 3 for GTA 5 came out prior to its release, I don't think that matters. Xbox on X says coming on November 19th. Nice. Marketing is more paid advertisements, etc. Definitely. It doesn't matter. It comes out November 19th, for sure. Said that yesterday, too. A lot of people like worried about like not getting trailers and more screenshots and pre-orders. I said that just really doesn't matter. The only thing that's really important is the fact that the release date is still November 19th. Yo, everyone enjoyed the Take-Two's earnings call. You know, that's funny. I don't think a lot of you did. I think a lot of you thought it was boring and you were pissed that they didn't just talk about GTA 6 or something. Their stock is... whoa. Holy shit. Look, ignore this. It really doesn't matter. The stock market doesn't make any sense. This subbitch was in 250 in after hours yesterday. Look, stock markets don't make any sense. I wouldn't even worry about it. Last earnings call, they killed it. This shit still dropped. So I wouldn't worry about what the stock does sometimes. If you like the stock, if you believe in it, just buy in it. Just buy it. Just buy it. Just buy it and hold it and love it and enjoy it. Don't focus on the specifics. You should only worry about ups and downs unless you plan on selling in the short term. If you plan on holding it for the next year or 5, why do you care about what it's doing today? Anyways, forget about the fact that it's down like $9 today. There's a lot of greedy people out there that are taking advantage of, you know, spikes or something. When there's more sells than there is purchasing, I'm sure that you're going to get results like this. Don't worry about this. Ignore it. Don't let shit like that scare you. You just don't know what it means. I'm still wondering why they never spoke about pre-orders. You're wondering why they still never spoke about pre-orders. Yay, exciting that GTA 6 is still on track for November 19th. Oh, it's very exciting. It was kind of good, but they trolled us with the GTA Online post today. How'd they troll you with the GTA Online post today? I don't get that either. It's like Rockstar Games will post on their accounts, and then it's always like, oh, they're trolling us. No, it's Tuesday, so that's why it's a Red Dead Online post. Oh, they're fucking with us. No, it's Thursday. That's why that's a GTA Online post. Wow, dude, I can't believe they're doing this to us. Doing what? Wow, well, they posted about GTA Online. Yeah, dude, it's Friday. They post on Fridays sometimes. They could post about anything. I don't get it. People act like that Rockstar Games can only post about GTA 6. If it's not a GTA 6 post, then just everyone's just getting fucked with. Like, wow, I can't believe that. How dare they post about something that wasn't GTA 6 related? I am very happy, Sylvester Wolf. GTA 6 mobile games from China and India. So we're going to be playing GTA 6 on mobile for real, for real. No. GTA 6 is not coming out on mobile. I'm just pointing out the fact that you think like fucking Rockstar Games and console is the end-all be-all. You really don't understand where the money comes from. I promise you, you don't. That's why I'm just pointing shit like that out to just rub it in your fucking face. Because you really don't understand where the money's coming from. Half, I say half of the money that they generate is coming from mobile. The other half is coming from PC or console. Mobile is that massive. Recurrent consumer spending makes up like 85% or just something crazy of all of their bookings also. So I think both of these tell the story. The half on mobile, I'm sure it's all recurrent consumer spending. I'm assuming all the mobile games are probably free to download. So all the revenue from mobile is probably just from recurrent consumer spending, for the most part. I just point that out because, again, Take-Two is a lot bigger than what you think it is. And I want to listen to something today. Lainey's going to say it. She's going to say something like, Rockstar Games makes up like they're projecting that Rockstar Games will make up like 33% of the net bookings. 2K will make up like 33%, and Zynga will make up 33% also or something. Whereas Rockstar Games usually only makes up like 17%. Zynga makes up half. And I mean, hell, that's what it looks like to me even right now. Zynga is making up like half the revenue. I just point that out so you guys can like chill out a little bit on thinking that Grand Theft Auto and Rockstar Games is the only important thing on the label. I try to keep things very grounded around here and keep it realistic. I feel like some of us have our expectations way too unrealistic. You were hoping for a talk about Strauss. You were hoping for a talk from Strauss about pre-orders. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to get any talk from Strauss about pre-orders. We have to get it from Rockstar Games. Rockstar trolls us every day, and that's a fact. I gotta be the only dude that exists that isn't like dumb to all this shit or something. Okay, I'm gonna give you a crash course on how things really work because a lot of you guys just really don't get it. So let's just work through it real quick, okay? I really just want to fill you in because you guys, some of you just seem like lost puppies and you just don't fucking get it. All right, I'm gonna give you a crash course because you're very lost. Every single Tuesday, they are going to post about Red Dead Online. They are not posting about Red Dead Online on a Tuesday to fuck with you. They are posting about Red Dead Online on Tuesday because it's fucking Tuesday. Awesome. I'm glad we could talk about that. All right. They post about Grand Theft Auto Online on Thursdays. They're not posting about Grand Theft Auto Online on a Thursday to fuck with you. They're posting about Grand Theft Auto Online on Thursday because it's fucking Thursday. Alright, fantastic. I'm glad we could have this conversation. They post on Fridays, not because they're trying to fuck with you, and it could be like Community Series, Grand Theft Auto, Red... It could be anything. They're not posting about something on a Friday to fuck with you. They're posting about things on a Friday because they post about things on Fridays. Feel that? Hell yeah. I'm so glad we could have this conversation. They do this every single week. They will sometimes post on Friday 3 times. And it might all just be Grand Theft Auto Online. I'm so glad I could just fill you in on how this all works. Every single Tuesday, they are going to post about Red Dead Online. Hell, they might even post on a holiday, like 420. On a Monday, by the way. They even post on Mondays sometimes. Rockstar Games making a post, and it has fuck all to do with GTA 6? Damn. No way. The sooner you, realize that, the less you'll stop pretending like you're disappointed or you think they're fucking with you. You know? So it'd be a lot easier on your mental health status if you stop wasting your time with those outlandish conspiracy theories. However, Rockstar Games will eventually post pre-orders and trailers. But it's not enough to just sit around and wait for the next post and then fucking throw your hands up and then be like, why the fuck is this not about GTA 6? Like, every single time they post, throwing your hands up, like, why is this not GTA 6 news? Because you're fucking stupid and you don't know what day of the week it is? I don't know. Was that a question? Or what? Are you asking a question? What's the question? Because it's either Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday, and that's why they're making the posts they're making. What's up, public? How are you doing? Surester, Talus, anybody watching? Oh, I'm not insulted. Hey, anybody who just took offense to that right now, I know I didn't say anyone's names. I feel like I was just talking in the third person. I'm going to tell you a story real quick. I must have been talking about you. Oh, you're offended? Feelings are all hurt? Alright, cool, bet. It's probably because I was talking about you. But if you're sitting there like... Good. Because I was talking in the third person. But hey, if you want to take offense... Bet. I must have been talking about you. That's what I'm thinking. It's probably what's going on right now. I probably was talking about you. But I wasn't talking about anybody. I was just talking. Alright. So this earnings call yesterday, it's good news. GTA 6 is still on track for November 6th. Those are the only details that people need to be focusing on. Nothing else really matters. So, I thought this would be fun to just kind of go over the earnings call again, actually take our time with it, and really look at it, really listen to it, really dissect all the words that got spoken yesterday in it. I really want to listen closely, and if I hear something that I want to comment and respond to, I'm going to pause it. Now, I'm not going to pause it after every sentence, but I'm going to give feedback where I want to give feedback. I'm going to give like my opinion, my thoughts, my ideas, what that means to me. Whether it has to do with company financials, how much cash they have on hand. Like if they thought they were going to have like $400 million cash on hand and now they have $600 million, I want to comment on that. Like the same way that I commented on this whole $8 billion net bookings, and that literally tells me that GTA 6 is coming out, okay? I want to comment on the things I'm seeing and hearing and what I think it means. Because like I said, this $8 billion was everything yesterday. I could not believe I could see that in fucking black and white. $8 billion projected net bookings. Holy fuck, it's happening. Like, all of you could type in the chat right now, like, nah, man, it's getting delayed. And I don't care what any of you say right now. This right here told me everything I needed to know. It's actually happening. It is. That told me everything. So, we are pretty much less than 6 months away from the release of GTA 6, and I could not be happier. I hope you guys are happy too. Are you getting old songs from GTA Vice, or are we getting old songs from GTA Vice City and Vice City? I have no idea. What's up, Big Johnny? Why won't they release the trailer already? So sad. I don't know. They'll just release it when they're ready, guys. You can sit around as much as you like waiting for trailers to release, or you could just let the trailer come out and then just worry about it then. It's like waiting around for something that's going to happen and then nothing happens. I don't know. Seems like a weird way to, you know what I mean? We're kind of at the point where we just got to wait for Rockstar Games to just give it to us. But we are going to sit around on Tuesday, May 26th, because that was the original release date. May 26th doesn't really count. Because that's like a thing. It's like an event. That's like I don't know. Something feels like May 26th could be something. And one time previously, May 26th did mean something. So not including May 26th. I think we're just gonna have to wait for the Rockstar to finally do something. I don't think it's enough to sit around and wait. I think after Tuesday, May 26th, that'll be our last waiting around stream. Like saying, hey, the trailer 3 today because it's Tuesday, and right after this Tuesday, I think we're just gonna wait for Rockstar Games to just make the announcement. I don't think it's enough to sit around and wait anymore. Glad no more delays for GTA 6, and just waiting for November. Sean, did you try Fusion Fix on GTA 4 before? No, I haven't. Okay, I'm gonna pause this music, and we're gonna just hop into the earnings call. We're just going to take it from the top. Okay? And if I hear something I'm interested in, I'm going to pause it, and I'm going to talk about what I think I just heard. But I'm not going to, over-explain or something. And I'm not going to try to pause it too often. Only the really finite details. Because I'm interested in the Q&A, this, 40-minute Q&A section that I don't know anything about because we didn't listen to it. About 50-minute Q&A section. They were Q&Aing for an hour yesterday. So I don't know. I took all this in, I think, but I feel like I just have to hear it a second time to really hear, even what Lainey said about the breakdown. Rockstar Games, she said 33% or 35%. 2K, 33%. Zynga, I don't know. I want to hear the breakdown too, just the net bookings, the breakdown on who's making what money and shit. Anyways, so the operator comments are just going to last for the first 45 seconds, and then we're going to get into Strauss Selnick, Carl, and Laney, and I just want to hear what they have to say. Let's go, right from the top. Volume maxed out. Don't pause so much, please. I watched the full earnings call. I just said I won't. I promise you I won't. I am not going to pause the whole earnings call. I'll be away for 2 weeks for my birthday. I'm going on a cruise. Not sure where. Congratulations. Cruises are fun. Cruises are fun, I mean. Cruises are great. All right, volume max. Let's go.
Hello, and thank you for standing by. My name is Tiffany, and I will be your conference operator today. At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to the fourth quarter and fiscal year 2026 Take-Two Interactive Software results call. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. After the speaker's remarks, there will be a question and answer session. If you would like to ask a question during that time, simply press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. I would now like to turn the call over to Nicole Shevins, Senior Vice President, Investor Relations and Corporate Communications. Nicole, please go ahead.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining our conference call to discuss our results for the fourth quarter and fiscal year 2026 ended March 31, 2026. Today's call will be led by Strauss Zelnick, Take-Two's Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, Karl Slatoff, our President, and Lainie Goldstein, our Chief Financial Officer. We will be available to answer your questions during the Q&A session following our prepared remarks. Before we begin, I'd like to remind everyone that statements made during this call that are not historical facts are considered forward-looking statements under federal securities laws. These forward-looking statements are based on the beliefs of our management, as well as assumptions made by and information currently available to us. We have no obligation to update these forward-looking statements. Actual operating results may vary significantly from these forward-looking statements based on a variety of factors. These important factors are described in our filings with the SEC, including the company's most recent annual report on Form 10-K and quarterly report on Form 10-Q, including the risks summarized in the section entitled Risk Factors. I'd also like to note that, unless otherwise stated, all numbers we will be discussing today are GAAP and all comparisons are year over year. Additional details regarding our actual results and outlook are contained in our press release, including the items that our management uses internally to adjust our GAAP financial results in order to evaluate our operating performance. Our press release also contains a reconciliation of any non-GAAP financial measure to the most comparable GAAP measure. In addition, we have posted to our website a slide deck that visually presents our results and financial outlook. Our press release and filings with the SEC may be obtained from our website at take2games.com. And now I'll turn the call over to Strauss.
Thanks, Nicole. Good afternoon.
All right, so you guys are bringing up something about Xbox posting. That's cool. That probably makes it feel more real. I'd assume when PlayStation is sending out notifications to their PS4 players to buy a PS5 and GTA 6 is coming out November 19th, I'm sure that felt pretty good too. So I guess this is just Xbox's way of kind of doing the same thing. A little less subtle, it's just a little Twitter post or something. I don't know if any of the Xbox players got notifications or whatever the case is, the same way that PlayStation was doing for like the PS4 players or something. For those that wishlisted GTA 6 or they like playing Grand Theft Auto Online or playing GTA 5, just that news we were getting about PlayStation, sending all the PS4 players all those notifications and emails and stuff that they should probably upgrade to a PS5 because GTA 6 is coming out November 19th. That's pretty cool. Nice little subtle way, a little bit, You know what I found so interesting too, like on the internet? There's a lot of people that, like I said, there's a lot of doubtful people out there. And even after the earnings call took place and like Strauss Zelnick, I've been seeing comments like, even like this person, like, I don't know. Oh, never mind. I don't know. People just seem doubtful. Like, I'm still reading comments from people that they're still skeptical of the release date. They just still do not believe it. We should have already had GTA 6. Maybe. We should have already had GTA 6 apparently in May 2025. So technically, GTA 6 should be a 1-year-old game. Technically, GTA 6 should be a 1-year-old game as of this month, but it's not.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm pleased to report that we concluded fiscal year 2026 with excellent results, including fourth quarter net bookings of $1.58 billion, which was above the high end of our guidance range. Net bookings for the full fiscal year were $6.7 billion, which was approximately $750 million above the initial guidance we provided last May. NBA 2K delivered record net bookings and recurrent consumer spending. Zynga achieved its highest level of net bookings since we acquired the business in 2022.
Wait, hold on.
These important factors are described in our filings with I'd also like to note it uses internal CC
quarter net bookings of 1 point that we concluded
CC may be obtained from our website at take2games.com. And now I'll turn the call over to Strauss.
Thanks, Nicole. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. I'm pleased to report that we concluded fiscal year 2026 with excellent results, including fourth quarter net bookings of $1.58 billion, which was above the high end of our guidance range. Net bookings for the full fiscal year were $6.7 billion, which was approximately $750 million above the initial guidance we provided last May. NBA 2K delivered record net bookings and recurrent consumer spending. Zynga achieved its highest level of net bookings since we acquired the business in 2022. And the Grand Theft Auto series once again exceeded our expectations and continued to drive significant net bookings and deep engagement with its passionate community of players. Fiscal 2027 is poised to be a breakout year for Take-Two, led by the November 19th release of Grand Theft Auto 6, arguably the most anticipated entertainment property of all time. And we're excited that Rockstar Games will start their marketing campaign this summer.
So, yes, like, if there was ever a doubt in your mind, if you need to hear it from Strauss himself, he said it. But these details literally come from Rockstar Games. So, for example, Strauss Zelnick is a pretty good CEO, and I'm sure he has a lot of pull. But there are some companies that don't even really delay a game, and they'll still release a game probably before it's supposed to be released. And maybe whether that's due to money troubles or what, Take-Two has a lot of cash and they can afford to delay a game and things like that. But it seems to me that he's a little hands-off, kind of. Rockstar Games is the one that tells him when the game is ready. I don't think Take-Two and Strauss tell them when the game needs to be ready by. I think it's just really exciting that he is actually coming out and saying that, because it seems, if you've listened to Strauss throughout these earnings calls or listened to Strauss throughout the past, it's not that he's just so vague because he's just doing that on purpose. He is doing that on purpose, but he's doing it because he's not kidding when he says all the good details about GTA 6 and all the real info is going to come from Rockstar Games. Even at these earnings calls, they will talk about GTA 6 and they will say stuff. They'll even answer questions, even if it is vaguely. But the real GTA 6 details is going to come from the company or Rockstar. From one of their social media pages, or on their website, on their YouTube channel, just something like that. If that makes sense. Even waiting around and thinking that PlayStation or Xbox is going to be the one to do something, be the first one to do that. Or Strauss Zelnick is going to be the one to do something. I think it's kind of more of a hands-off situation around there. Take-Two is the one in charge for sure. But I still just think at the end of the day, for everything about it, it really just has to come from Rockstar Games. And I think that's an awesome approach, being a little hands-off, just letting them just do their work.
Our initial financial outlook for fiscal 2027 includes record net bookings of $8 to $8.2 billion. This reflects meaningful growth over last year, led by the launch of Grand Theft Auto 6, along with the successful execution across our entire portfolio.
And again, they forecasted $8 billion, led by the release of Grand Theft Auto 6. I don't know what else I really need to say about that. I think it pretty well explains itself.
We expect to...
And did I mention that they usually only bring in $5.5 to $6 billion or so? That, the 5 to 6 billion range. That's what they're used to. So they're going to make an extra 2 to 3 billion, led by the release of GTA 6. I believe him when he's talking.
Sustain this higher level of scale and generate strong cash flows well into the future as we release our robust long-term development pipeline and capitalize on new opportunities across our highly established, multifaceted business. Turning to highlights from the quarter, I'll begin with our fantastic mobile performance. Toon Blast grew approximately 20.
So I'm not going to comment on any of this, but again, Take-Two is a big, gigantic company. It's not just about Rockstar Games or GTA 6. A lot of this earnings call is going to be talking about Zynga and 2K and other things like that. They are going to talk about Rockstar Games. They're going to talk about like Red Dead and Grand Theft Auto. There's going to be a lot of talk about a lot of other things, and I'm just going to let him talk. Maybe if he brings up Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead, which he will, maybe I'll say something, maybe I won't. I don't know. Just keep that in mind. Take-Two's obviously a big company. This has just everything to do about GTA 6 and not just to do with about one title under all the other titles.
25% year over year, as Peak introduced new events and features, including Temple Guardians, Deep Quest, and refined level experiences. Match Factory continued to perform, with players responding positively to its live service execution and a continuous pipeline of player-friendly features, such as the collectible album. Empires & Puzzles outpaced our forecast and grew 5% over last year, driven by a robust slate of in-game events celebrating the title's 9th anniversary. Color Block Jam grew 15% year over year and remains the highest grossing title in Rollic's history. Top 11 delivered its strongest quarter ever after 16 years in market, driven by superb performance of the Bundesliga and live operations innovation. 2K's mobile offerings posted another solid quarter, with WWE Supercard reaching nearly 39 million lifetime downloads, NBA 2K Mobile continuing to expand its audience, NBA 2K26 Arcade Edition maintaining its top 5 position on the Apple Arcade charts, and NBA 2K All-Star in China growing to nearly 10 million registered users after just 1 year in market. Our direct-to-consumer channel continues to drive net bookings and margin growth as we integrate additional mobile titles from our portfolio and deepen our relationships with players by reducing payment friction and enhancing the end-to-end user experience, which is generating improvements in conversion and customer loyalty. As the regulatory landscape continues to evolve, we're even more confident in the sustainability and growth profile of this platform. The Grand Theft Auto series continues to outpace expectations significantly and demonstrate incredible momentum leading up to the launch of Grand Theft Auto 6 on November 19th. Recurrent consumer spending grew 5% year over year, with...
I will say too, we are definitely getting some GTA 6 talk in this one. He's already said GTA 6 is coming out November 19th. They're making $8 billion in fiscal 2027, led by the release of GTA 6. And now he's saying again about the anticipated release of Grand Theft Auto 6. We're barely 6 minutes into this one. Strauss has been probably talking for like 4 of it. He's already said GTA 6 3 times.
Strong engagement in GTA Online, driven by A Safe House in the Hills, one of the best performing updates in its history. This content offering provided a wide range of community-requested features, including mansion properties, the return of Michael DeSanta from Grand Theft Auto 5, all new missions, vehicles, exclusive GTA Plus benefits, and the powerful new Rockstar Mission Creator that allows content creators to make their own GTA experiences.
In my opinion, that Mission Creator thing is an early look at something we're going to see in GTA 6. They're literally doing the Mission Creator thing right now just to test it out and just, and like they let the community test it out or something before the release of GTA 6. That's one of the first things you're going to see in online, I promise you. It comes with that whole user-generated content stuff that they plan on doing and why they acquired 5M and just all those details. And he just talked about it. That was like a big talking point for GTA Online, the Mission Creator.
Sales of Grand Theft Auto 5 advanced further, with nearly 230 million units sold in to date. GTA Plus continues to see significant growth year over year, led by the holiday update and highly attractive monthly benefits, such as the inclusion of NBA 2K26 in its games library. In addition, Rockstar Games' Red Dead Redemption 2 achieved its highest level of annual unit sales since its launch year, with over 85 million units sold to date. During the quarter, our sports offerings also performed well. NBA 2K26 continued to expand its audience. To date, the title has sold in over 10 million units, representing a 5% increase over NBA.
That's so fascinating. It's really crazy to think about. Just that Red Dead Redemption, I think, is now the third best-selling game of all time. Rockstar Games has at least 2 games in the top 5. And they might now have 2 games, the same games, in the top 3. It's debatable. It's always been said that Minecraft is the best-selling game, but it's debatable if Tetris isn't the best-selling game. So, let's just say not focused on Tetris. Grand Theft Auto 5 is the second best-selling game of all time, and Red Dead Redemption 2 is now the third best-selling game of all time. And it would seem to me that in the past 3 months, Red Dead Redemption 2 has sold 3 million more copies. It doesn't look like Wii Sports is really selling too often these days. Now, I don't know who's going to beat Red Dead Redemption 2 or Grand Theft Auto 5. It's probably going to take a while for even another video game to even hit these numbers. Like, other games just don't. Some games, have gotten, up here, but a lot of games don't really sell 85 million copies. And I also believe we're going to get another Red Dead game in the future, too. Strauss Zelnick loves Red Dead, and Rockstar, they'll definitely keep making Grand Theft Autos and Red Deads now. Not a doubt in my mind about it.
2K25. Recurrent consumer spending grew 10% as we benefited from higher daily active users and games played per user. In keeping with our strategic focus on innovation, Visual Concepts launched Season 5 for NBA 2K26, their first ever college-themed offering, featuring 16 iconic universities, which was welcomed by NBA 2K's vast community and provided a glimpse of what's to come in college basketball for next year and beyond. I'd like to thank our partners at the NBA and the NBA Players Association for their continued engagement and support in our collective mission. On March 13th, 2K and Visual Concepts launched WWE 2K26, which was well received by critics and consumers alike. Engagement has been excellent, with recurrent consumer spending up 20% year over year and more than 85 million matches played, an increase of 7% compared to WWE 2K25. 2K is supporting the title with multiple updates through its Ringside Pass. I'd like to thank Nick Khan and his team at TKO for their unwavering support and partnership as we continue to evolve this series further for fans of the game. PGA Tour 2K25 enjoyed a fantastic resurgence. 2K captured an influx of new players and drove strong organic interest by aligning Season 5 with the start of the PGA Tour season in January and including the title in PlayStation Plus. During the quarter, our consumers played 60 million rounds of golf, representing a 110% increase over the third quarter. 2K will support the franchise throughout the year with several more content updates. In closing, we're incredibly excited by the promise of our future for our players, our organization, and our shareholders. This year has the opportunity to be a major inflection point for our company, defined by groundbreaking entertainment experiences, creative and operational excellence, and record net bookings. With our flexible balance sheet, our strong cash position, and our expectation that we'll generate over $1 billion in operating cash flow this fiscal year, we believe that we're extraordinarily well positioned to take measured creative risks, to pursue accretive M&A, and to invest in technology that will unlock greater creative capabilities and operational efficiencies across our organization. I'm immensely proud of our teams and exceedingly optimistic that we'll continue to drive greater success and shareholder value for the long term. I'll now turn the call over to Carl.
That's great. Just all the things he said seems really great. Like the whole even $1 billion cash flow and stuff. Because I don't know. They're just going to make so much money selling GTA 6. I just feel like everybody's going to buy it. And there's going to be people that might even just buy it twice because they're going to buy it on both consoles or something.
Thanks, Strauss. I'd like to thank our teams for another strong quarter and for laying the groundwork for an exciting chapter in our company's history. We are extremely optimistic about our upcoming pipeline, which includes 29 titles through fiscal 2029. In the interest of precision, we are now only counting mobile games.
Damn, that's crazy. They got 29 games planned at the moment, all the way to fiscal 2029. That means the next 3 years. I wonder if anyone posted Take-Two 2027 marketing budget or something. Like, there's usually like numbers for that. I'll have to try to like pull that out or something somewhere.
In our pipeline that have been specifically scheduled for worldwide launch within the 3-year window. Our teams continue to develop and test many new titles not reflected in this outlook, some of which may be added to our multi-year count. Fiscal 2027 is set to be a milestone year, led by the launch of Grand Theft Auto 6 on November 19th. We plan to release 6 additional titles during the fiscal year, including 2 mobile titles, 3 sports titles, which are NBA 2K27, PGA Tour 2K27, and WWE 2K27, and 1 platform extension. Our labels will also continue to provide new content and experiences that drive engagement and recurring consumer spending across many of our previously released titles. Looking ahead, we currently expect to deliver 22 titles throughout fiscal 2028 and 2029, including 1 mobile title, 5 sports titles, 3 core new IPs, and 13 core existing IPs, which includes 7 sequels and 6 remakes, remasters, and platform extensions. We look forward to sharing more about our groundbreaking pipeline, which we believe will drive a new period of growth and long-term returns for our shareholders. I'll now turn the call over to Lainey.
Thanks.
That was pretty quick by Carl. He did say Grand Theft Auto 6. They pretty much reiterated multiple times that obviously GTA 6 well on track for the November 19th release date.
Carl, and good afternoon, everyone. Fiscal 2026 was an exceptional year for Take-Two, as we achieved record net bookings and operating performance. Each of our labels significantly outperformed the initial forecast we provided last May, as our teams maintained their focus on product innovation and delivering the highest levels of quality and value. I'd like to thank our teams for their passion and dedication as we embark on this milestone year marked by the highly anticipated release of Grand Theft Auto 6 and strength across our core businesses. Turning to our results, we delivered fourth quarter net bookings of $1.58 billion, which was above the high end of our guidance range of $1.51 to $1.56 billion. This reflected better than expected performance from the Grand Theft Auto series, several mobile titles, and the Red Dead Redemption series. Recurrent consumer spending growth was strong, increasing 7% over last year and accounting for 82% of net bookings. This included 7% growth for mobile and 5% growth for Grand Theft Auto Online, both of which surpassed our expectations. NBA 2K increased 10%, which represented one of the strongest fourth quarters in franchise history, but was softer than anticipated as trends moderated from the extreme growth we achieved during the second and third quarters of the year. During the quarter, we launched Sid Meier's Civilization VII for Apple Arcade, PGA Tour 2K25 for Switch 2, and WWE 2K26. GAAP net revenue increased 6% to $1.68 billion, while cost of revenue declined 5%, $741 million. Operating expenses decreased significantly to $928 million, as last year included a 3.6...
Wait a minute. Hold on. Operating expense? I need to go to like 13, 4, somewhere.
$28 million, as last year included a 3.
Hold on. I just want to rehear that one more time.
While cost of revenue declined 5%, $741 million. Operating expenses decreased significantly to $928 million.
So operating expense was $928 million. Apparently, they're projecting total operating costs to be around $4 billion. This person did a whole big ass summary and AI grabbed it.
as last year included a $3.6 billion impairment expense related to goodwill and acquired intangible assets. On a management basis, operating expenses declined 2% year over year, which was favorable to our guidance due to lower marketing expenditures, some of which shifted out of the period. For fiscal 2026, we achieved net bookings of $6.72 billion, which was above the high end of our guidance range of $6.65 to $6.7 billion. Recurrent consumer spending grew 17% and accounted for 78% of net bookings. NBA 2K grew over 30%, mobile increased 13%, and Grand Theft Auto Online increased 6%, all sharply exceeding our initial May guidance. Operating cash flow was $624 million compared to our forecast of $450 million, reflecting our fantastic fourth quarter. We spent approximately $163 million in capital expenditures, which due to timing is favorable to our forecast. GAAP net revenue rose 18% to $6.65 billion, and cost of revenue increased 11% to $2.8 billion. Operating expenses decreased significantly to $3.9 billion due to the impairment charges that I mentioned previously from last year's fourth quarter. On a management basis, operating expenses rose 7% year over year, which represented strong leverage over the prior year. Today, we are providing our initial outlook for fiscal 2027. We project net bookings to range from $8 billion to $8.2 billion, which reflects approximately 20% growth over fiscal 2026, primarily due to the launch of Grand Theft Auto 6 on November 19th, along with successful execution across our entire portfolio. The largest contributors to net bookings are expected to be the Grand Theft Auto series, NBA 2K, Toon Blast, Match Factory, Empires & Puzzles, the Red Dead Redemption series, Words with Friends, Color Block Jam, and Zynga Poker. We expect recurrent consumer spending to be flat to fiscal 2026 and to represent 65% of net bookings. Our recurrent consumer spending forecast assumes NBA 2K is up high single digits, the Grand Theft Auto series is up, and mobile is down, due to last year's success of Color Block Jam and our assumption that trends will moderate for several of Zynga's mature mobile titles. We expect the net bookings breakdown from our labels to be roughly 36% Rockstar Games, 35% Zynga, and 29% 2K.
There it is right there. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for right there.
Percent of net bookings. Our recurrent consumer spending forecast assumes NBA 2K is up high single digits, the Grand Theft Auto series is up, and mobile is down, due to
So they think NBA is going to stay up. The Grand Theft Auto series should obviously be up. And she said forecast. This is our forecast. This is what we think is going to happen. All right, I'm going to do that one more time. Just back a little bit. Just back a little bit.
Factory, Empires & Puzzles, the Red Dead Redemption series, Words with Friends, Color Block Jam, and Zynga Poker. We expect recurrent consumer...
We expect... Okay, so that's 1522. Go right there at 1519. Here's the good details. Some good details.
Block Jam and Zynga Poker.
All right.
We expect recurrent consumer spending to be flat to fiscal 2026 and to represent 65% of net bookings. Our recurrent consumer spending forecast assumes NBA 2K is up high single digits, the Grand Theft Auto series is up, and mobile is down.
All right, so they expect NBA to be up, the Grand Theft Auto series to be up, and they think mobile is going to decline a little bit.
Due to last year's success of Color Block Jam and our assumption that trends will moderate for several of Zynga's mature mobile titles. We expect the net booking...
We expect...
breakdown from our labels to be roughly 36% Rockstar Games, 35% Zynga, and...
So they expect the breakdown for fiscal 2027 to be 36% Rockstar Games, 35% Zynga, and 29% 2K. Now, the levels between 2K and Zynga are like usually what they are, but obviously GTA is going to be very significantly boosted.
Sheer success of Color Block Jam and our assumption that trends will moderate for several of Zynga's mature mobile titles. We expect the net bookings breakdown from our labels to be roughly 36% Rockstar Games, 35% Zynga, and 29% 2K.
Dang, 36% Rockstar Games, 35% Zynga, 29% 2K. Usually the breakdown is 50% Zynga, like 33% 2K, and 17% Rockstar Games. I'd be kind of interested to see what it looks like the year following. Hopefully, you know, people are still playing GTA 6, and a lot of people, the Grand Theft Auto series could stay up for a while. But we kind of already see the numbers when, you know, things get stale after a while. You know, eventually, you know, it could flip back in the other direction. But it is really interesting to see that they assume like Rockstar Games is going to dominate all their other labels, at least for fiscal 2027. Also very, very, very good news. Because again, usually it's only like 17%. So to see it just even over the other two, whatever the numbers are, that's pretty cool. Because Zynga brings in so much money. So if Zynga's going to bring in like $2 billion, that means Rockstar Games is going to bring in more than $2 billion. Because Zynga usually brings in that much money. We can kind of assume like how much money Rockstar Games could make then. We can make an assumption. We could guess. Like, they're going to make $8 billion in net bookings. That's how we can do the calculation on that too. So if they're going to make, like, let's call it $8 billion, 0.36 times 8 billion. They think Rockstar Games is going to bring in like $2.9 billion. They think Zynga is going to bring in 35%. Like, yeah. Again, like 2.8 billion or so. So they think Rockstar Games is going to make like as much or more, but I don't know. This is just a factor of the whole 8 billion thing and like their whole little breakdown. And then they're giving 2K. They said 29%. I don't know. 2K is still bringing in quite a bit of money also. All their labels, if their forecast is right, appear to be bringing in lots of money. So yeah, they got Rockstar Games bringing in maybe like $3 billion this year. Interesting stuff. It's a lot of money.
We are forecasting operating cash flow in excess of $1 billion, and we expect to be in a net cash position by the end of the fiscal year. We plan to deploy approximately $200 million.
Wait, did she say about operating cash flow?
Of $1 billion, and we expect to be in a net cash position by
yeah, something about cash flows.
35% Zynga and 29% 2K. We are forecasting operating cash flow in excess of $1 billion.
So they're forecasting $1 billion for cash flow, like to have cash on hand or something.
And we expect to be in a net cash position by the end of the fiscal year. We plan to deploy approximately $200 million of capital expenditures for game technology and office buildouts.
Wait, how much? Lainey has the best details.
We plan to deploy approximately $200 million of
$200 million.
Capital expenditures for game technology and office.
See, yesterday she was like blowing my mind. Like, it wasn't until we got to Lainey's and she just kept fucking running her mouth about all the cool shit. Like, she has like all the good details. That's what I really wanted to like pause and like listen to. Like, wait, what did she say? Because I don't know. It's such good details that she's throwing my way here.
Office buildouts. We expect GAAP net revenue to range from $7.9 to $8.1 billion and cost of revenue to range from $3.5 to $3.62 billion. Our total operating expenses are expected to range from $4.18 to $4.2 billion. On a management basis, we expect operating expense growth of approximately 8% year over year, which represents significant leverage over fiscal 2026. This growth is largely due to higher marketing expense to support the launch of Grand Theft Auto 6 and our new mobile releases, as well as higher R&D costs. Now move.
Dang. So their operating costs were like not even $1 billion for fiscal 2026. They're forecasting like a $4 billion operating cost, and the reasons are because of Grand Theft Auto and Zynga.
This growth is largely due to higher marketing expense to support the launch of Grand Theft Auto 6.
Higher marketing expense to support the launch of GTA 6. So they're throwing billions at marketing.
And our new mobile releases.
But I don't know, are they putting out a bunch of new mobile releases or something? Because I feel like Zynga is still like the same as it has always been. It's bringing in the same revenue like it always does. But they got billions more in expenses all of a sudden. Like 3 billion more. I don't know. I guess they're throwing billions at marketing, it sounds like.
As well as higher R&D costs. Now moving on to our guidance for the fiscal first quarter.
Oh, cool. I get it. So they have high R&D costs too, research and development. So some of that's probably going to Zynga to make new games or something. Maybe that's why mobile's declining. Maybe some of these mobile titles are getting stale or something. I mean, you'd figure, right? Like people would probably get sick of them eventually. You know, you play them enough, you probably just wouldn't play them anymore or something.
We project net bookings to range from $1.32 to $1.37 billion compared to $1.42 billion in the first quarter last year.
Dang. Hold on.
Now moving on to our guidance for the fiscal first quarter.
All right, the fiscal first quarter, the current quarter that we're in, the quarter that's going to end around the end of June.
We project net bookings to range from $1.32 to $1.37 billion.
So they only think they're making like 1.35 for the quarter. 1.35. Now let's say they made 1.35 billion every quarter. That wouldn't even touch 8 billion. It's barely 5.4. One of these earnings calls, whether it's the August one or the November one or some shit, they're going to do some like crazy forecast where they're going to forecast that they're going to make like $3 billion or something. Like they're going to forecast like, hey, we're going to make 3.5 billion this following quarter. Because if they keep that trend up of only making 1.35, like that's nowhere near the 8 they think they're going to get. Interesting details.
Compared to $1.42 billion in the first quarter last year. The largest contributors to net bookings are expected to be NBA 2K, the Grand Theft Auto series, Toon Blast, Match Factory, Empires and Puzzles, the Red Dead Redemption series, Color Black Jam, Words with Friends, and Zynga Poker. We project recurrent consumer spending to decline by approximately 3%, which assumes high single-digit growth for NBA 2K and declines for mobile and the Grand Theft Auto series. We expect GAAP net revenue to range from $1.45 to $1.5 billion and cost of revenue to range from $578 to $594 million. Operating expenses are planned to range from $926 to $936 million. On a management basis, operating expenses are expected to grow by approximately 3% year over year.
Dang, so they're spending pretty much $1 billion this quarter alone. That's trending at $1 billion every quarter, which would match the whole $4 billion thing. That's a lot of money being thrown around every 3 months on expenses, I'd assume. $1 billion? It's quite a bit.
Primarily driven by a modest increase in personnel costs. In closing, fiscal 2027 will introduce a new level of operating performance, which we expect to sustain well into the future, driven by a robust pipeline and expansion opportunities across our core franchises. With our focus on incorporating new technologies and tools, we feel confident in our ability to scale our business, generate operational efficiencies, and leverage the power of our balance sheet, which we believe will drive long-term shareholder returns. Thank you. I'll now turn the call back to Strauss.
Thanks, Lainey and Carl. On behalf of our entire management team, I'd like to thank our colleagues around the world for their commitment to excellence and to our strategy of being the most creative, the most innovative, and the most efficient company in the entertainment industry. To our shareholders, I want to express our appreciation for your continued support. We'll now take your questions. Operator?
So the whole Q&A section is pretty basic. It's just a bunch of companies going to be calling in. If they ask anything about GTA 6, maybe I'll comment. We'll see.
At this time, if you would like to ask a question, press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. To withdraw your question, simply press star 1 again.
Or hold on. Let me look at prepared remarks. Is the Q&A on here? No, probably not. Yep, this is not the Q&A.
We will pause for just a moment to compile the Q&A roster. Your first question comes from the line of Eric Handler with Roth Capital Partners. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon. Thanks for the question. Lainey, just a couple things within the guidance. Looks like, at least on a non-GAAP basis, your operating expenses are looking, let's call it for round number purposes, about $3.8 billion. That's a $300 million incremental increase on a year-over-year basis. How much of that is due to marketing? And when you look at sort of like the trend for the next couple of years for G&A and R&D, what do those trajectories look like? I assume they'll be much smaller than revenue growth.
Yes, that's correct. So we expect to have a lot of leverage over the next couple of years as we continue to scale the business. And for the $300 million hire for this coming year, about half of that is for selling and marketing expenses for the entire company, as we have significant marketing for our entire pipeline of titles that are coming out this year.
Okay, that's helpful. And then as a follow-up, how should we think about RCS, and once GTA 6 comes out, how are you sort of thinking about the trajectory of GTA Online when that game is launched?
Rockstar will provide more details on the GTA series when they're ready to talk about that.
See? Rockstar Games will provide more details on the GTA series when they're ready to talk about that. You know what I mean? Like, we have to just wait for Rockstar Games to give us the details. That's all it comes down to. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah, I think you're asking, though, to what do we expect will happen with recurrent consumer spending regarding GTA Online? And look, I think to say that everyone has been pleased by the ongoing trajectory of GTA Online, Red Dead Online, the sales of GTA 5, the sales of Red Dead would be a great understatement. These titles have proven to be vastly more resilient than anyone expected, and I think it's a reflection of the quality of the work that Rockstar has done. Despite the fact that Grand Theft Auto 5 is now has been in market for 3 console generations, it continues to sell. It's now up to 230 million units. Red Dead is up to 85 million units. So, we're so extraordinarily pleased with how Rockstar's titles have performed. It's difficult to know exactly how Grand Theft Auto Online will do after the release of Grand Theft Auto 6, but certainly it will stay in market, and certainly there are many, many consumers who love the title.
Thank you, very helpful.
Your next question comes from the line of Colin Sebastian with Baird. Please go ahead.
Thanks. Congratulations on the year. I have a couple of questions as well. I guess first off, as cash flow influx per the guidance for the coming fiscal year, how are you guys thinking about capital allocation between returning to shareholders versus other uses? And I have a follow-up.
So, this will sound boringly consistent with our answer to this question. It's the same as it has been for as long as we've been in the position of having positive cash flow and positive cash balances. There are 3 uses of our capital here. First, to support organic growth. This company's story has largely been an organic growth story, and we certainly have expectations for organic growth in fiscal 27. And we believe that fiscal 27 is setting a new benchmark, a new standard for this company going forward. And that's all organic. But as you can see from our numbers, we have to invest to be in a position where we can grow in that way. And our balance sheet and our P&L allows us to do just that. Well, that'll continue. The second use of our capital is very selectively when it makes strategic sense. And let me emphasize this, when it's accretive, we are willing to engage in inorganic opportunities. The most recent meaningful one was, of course, the acquisition of Zynga in 2022 for $9.7 billion in cash and stock, and then more recently the acquisition of Gearbox. And so,
I'm gonna 1.5 times the fuck out of this shit. I'm gonna assume like not everything has to do with GTA 6.
Proud to say that all of our acquisitions have turned out to be accretive and successful over nearly a 2-decade period. That's pretty breathtaking for corporations, not generally the case. And I think that's because we're immensely disciplined. You're not going to see us doing deals hand over fist. But assuming our balance sheet continues to improve, I think you could imagine more inorganic growth in the future as well. And we've already said in this release today that we expect to be in a net cash position by the end of the fiscal year. And finally, we return capital to the shareholders when it makes sense. So far, we've done that through share buybacks, and they are opportunistic. We believe that share buybacks make sense for our shareholders when they are executed at deep value. Our last buyback was done at $158 a share. We'll see how the stock opens tomorrow, but I think no matter what, that was a pretty good plan on our side. So, like all stocks, they move around to different price points. Our stock traded down as low as I think 195 in the last 6 weeks, and there is an opportunity to return capital to the shareholders when it makes sense.
Thanks for the reminder on those, Strauss. I guess maybe as a follow-up, and maybe some of the structural issues in the industry, including sales of current-gen consoles. I'm just curious how that impacts, your thinking, your assumptions in terms of establishing pricing and pre-order expectations for titles like GTA 6 in the coming year. Thank you.
Sorry, what would the relationship be from your point of view?
The install base of hardware may not be as high in this current console generation as it might otherwise have been. Certainly value price points for certain titles have done well versus premium pricing. So those considerations.
Look, when we look at pricing, I would not say we look at it in the context of the install base. We absolutely look at pricing in the context of the property itself. And so what we want to do in every situation, whether that's console, mobile, PC, frontline, or catalog, is deliver to the consumer vastly more entertainment value than what we charge. We want the consumer to have a great experience, and we think a consumer experience is the intersection of what you get and what you pay for it. And probably a great example of that is Mafia: The Old Country, which is a terrific title. But it's not, it's not a 100-hour experience, it's not a 50-hour experience. And so we priced the title at $50, and consumers were thrilled, and we had a massive hit on our hands. Now, I suspect we could have priced it at a higher level. We wanted to make sure that consumers loved it, and part of loving something is feeling good about what you paid for it.
They had to decrease the price on Mafia: The Old Country just so people didn't feel like they got ripped off, They had to just make it a little cheaper.
Your next question comes from the line of Doug Creutz with TD Cowen. Please go ahead.
Hey, thank you. I wanted to ask in the context of your guidance that mobile you're assuming is down this year based on some attenuation in the performance of older games. Is that based on anything you're seeing in the year to date, or is that more of a, hey, these are older titles, let's be prudent in our outlook? Similar to, I think for many years you guys sort of said we expect GTA Online to be down because it's a many-year-old live service game, and then we typically do better. Can you just give some context around that, and then also what you might be assuming for your 2 new mobile launches within that guide? Thank you.
So it's a very fair question. We had a great year at Zynga, and I think it's more the way you characterized it, which is we're not prepared to guide to continually beating expectations materially at any business unit. So we do guide as we see it, and this is how we see it. However, as you said, it is a reflection of the fact that some titles that were newer last year are older this year. Now, all that said, Toon Blast was up 25%, and it's a very old title. So we do have opportunities to exceed our expectations now and then. But this is our best estimate sitting here today. As far as our expectations around new launches, we in the mobile side particularly, we never anticipate huge numbers because it's just impossible to do so. Hit ratios are just too low. So our guidance would typically reflect our expectations around the marketing spend in the year, because we would never guide around doing something silly. In the mobile business, if you're getting bad immediate results from a marketing spend, you stop doing it. And our dev costs are pretty manageable in the mobile world. So I would say, unlike say console, where you have a big release, I'm not going to give you the example you want. So we have basketball coming up. We know how many units it sold so far. 10 million units sold in today. We know the prior year, the year before that, we have a sense of the market. We can estimate that pretty well within a band. But with mobile, we just don't have the ability to do that. So I think it is. You correctly intuited that our mobile numbers would not include an expectation for some massive new release hit.
Very helpful. Thank you.
Your next question comes from the line of Corey Carpenter with JP Morgan. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon. I had 2 questions on NBA 2K. Clearly, I think record year for the franchise this year, but hoping you could expand a bit on the trends you saw in the quarter. I think they moderated, you said in the prepared remarks, a little more than you had expected. So what did you see there? And then, Carl, maybe could you talk a bit about the engagement that you saw with the initial college basketball rollout? Thank you.
So for NBA, this is one of our strongest quarters for Q4 in the franchise history. In terms of looking at our expectations, this reflects the extreme growth of Q2 and Q3, where we saw a high concentration of spending from our most engaged players early in the year, which left less upside opportunity heading into Q4. So that's really what we saw in Q4 this year.
And on the college piece, yeah, we are very excited about our college release for season 5. I would describe it at this point as it's a taste of what's to come. We did a deal to feature 16 universities. It's basically validated our expectations and the opportunity that we think would be very meaningful for us going forward. So the short answer is stay tuned. It's very exciting for us, and we're very happy how things have turned out so far.
And maybe as a follow-up, Strauss, on the last earnings call, Google Genie had just launched in beta. There's been some conversations more recently around the ability for AI to perhaps create GTA 6 in a couple of months. I know this is a bit of a generic, high-level question. It just launched in beta. There's been some conversations more recently around the ability for AI to perhaps create GTA 6 in a couple of months. I know this is a bit of a generic, high-level question you've touched on before, but just given this remains a pretty big debate among investors, thought it'd be helpful to hear your latest views just around what you're seeing in AI and how you expect it to change the gaming industry and Take-Two in particular. Thanks.
We remain enormously optimistic. Technology helped build this company. Video games are created largely inside computers and always have been. When I started in the video game business in 1993, we were making 32-bit games, and they certainly look anything like they do today, and that's all driven by tech. I think the sort of confusion surrounds a belief that somehow more efficient asset creation puts us at some disadvantage or creates a competitive advantage for someone else. And I just don't believe that's the case. To the extent that technology allows anyone to do a better job in asset creation, naturally we'll avail ourselves of the same technology. If you take a look at the tech in market that is currently licensed for the creation of video games, it's licensed broadly. No one exclusively licenses technology for video games. So if a competitor has access to AI and that allows someone to do something better, quicker, cheaper, then we would have access to the same thing. The second point that I've made that I would stand behind is that the asset creation is not the same as hit creation. So, the entire story around the Gemini release was, wow, you can create assets that look like video games more easily than you could before. I hope that's true because that'll benefit us naturally. We have three-part strategy: be the most creative, be the most innovative, be the most efficient. Seems to me that even if it doesn't help with creativity, it certainly should help with efficiency and innovation. So that could be thrilling. But
I'm speeding up all the stuff I don't care about.
And the best example of that is, there are thousands of new mobile releases a year, but there's a handful of new mobile hits a year, and we make some of them. Despite the fact that everyone has access to the same tech, because everyone licenses exactly the same underlying technology for the creation of mobile titles as we do. I remain highly optimistic. Now I'll give you a real-world example. I was visiting one of our studios, and they showed me some advertisements that they were putting together to advertise their games. And these were live-action ads, and they were funny and cute, 15 to 30-second ad units that you've seen a zillion times. They were all created with AI, licensed AI, legal AI. And the script was done in-house for free, well, by people, colleagues who work at the company already. And the software was used, AI software was used. The entire cost of making the spot was zero. And previously, we hired third-party companies to actually create those with human beings. And those spots could cost $25,000, $50,000, $100,000. Now, please note, not only were we not interested in reducing our headcount to make this happen, we didn't have the opportunity to reduce our headcount to make this happen. The entire marketing team of this particular studio was 2 people. They're doing a great job. But what AI has allowed them to do is be more efficient, make great stuff, and do it cheaper. This is all a benefit to our company.
Thank you.
Your next question comes from the line of Chris Schull with UBS. Please go ahead.
Great, thank you. Strauss, I believe it was a few quarters ago you mentioned your expectations for GTA 6 continued to increase. Any updates you can provide on your general expectations and levels of confidence for the franchise based on the indicators you have at this point? And how do you expect that this title will perform relative to GTA 5? And that, Lainey, maybe, I know there's a lot of noise to margins this year with the marketing and the software amort, but I believe I heard you said there's a lot of leverage over the next few years. But can you just remind us how you're thinking about the ability to return to the historic margin levels that Take-Two used to see? Thank you.
I don't recall the comment you alluded to. I'm pretty much, I think I've always said the same thing, which is, we're all, how could we not be? We're all extraordinarily excited about what Rockstar Games is working on. We're all incredibly enthusiastic about the upcoming release. And equally, this is a management team that never claims success before it occurs. And I'm pretty sure that every time we've had the luxury of having a conversation about an upcoming release that looked good, I've said, we absolutely never opine on how high is up. We certainly work toward the best result and hope for the best result. But that is out of our hands. What's in the hands of Rockstar, from a development point of view and a marketing point of view, is trying to make the best entertainment property they possibly can, and then bringing it effectively to consumers all over the world. That's what we aim to do, and we do feel really, really good about it.
Margin improvement remains a key priority in our financial strategy, but we recognize that margins will fluctuate over time based on a variety of factors. In fiscal 2027, we're reaching a new level of operating performance, which we expect to sustain well into the future, driven by a robust pipeline and expansion opportunities across our core franchises. So as we operate at this new level and generate operational efficiencies through reduction efforts and leveraging new technologies, including AI, we aim to enhance our margin profile over time. So if you think about our operating expense leverage, it represents our largest opportunity, which we believe we can achieve as we grow our scale both organically and inorganically. We've mentioned previously that gross margins of many of our titles are affected by the increasing cost of development. So we've been making many structural improvements, including the driving efficiencies and reducing expenses. So you've seen some of that coming through the P&L in the last couple of years and the leverage we've seen in the last year in terms of our operating expenses. Also the D2C efforts in mobile, that's also working towards improving our margins. So this was a year where we scaled the business meaningfully and we achieved strong leverage on our expense structure. So we'll continue to do that as we look into the future.
Thank you.
Your next question comes from the line of Andrew Marok with Raymond James. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for taking my questions. Maybe one on the Rockstar Mission Creator. I know Strauss called that out in the prepared remarks as an interesting factor. I guess, are there any learnings from the early days of that and some of the recent missions that were created as you look to scale UGC and some of your Rockstar properties? And then I have a follow-up.
Look, we're trying to meet players where they are, and to the extent that people want to have a hand in creation, there are numerous opportunities for them to do so. So, I just think it's incredibly exciting, and our company embraces these advances. So, we're not precious about what we do here. We're open-minded. Another example of that is the 5M business. Where this started as sort of a business that was outside of our four walls, and now it's a business that's inside our four walls, and we're thrilled that it is.
Okay, thank you. And then maybe one more on mobile, if I could. I know that there has been some kind of correlation between the mobile business and macroeconomic factors in the past. I guess, what level of conservatism might you be taking into the guide around general economic conditions as it relates to the mobile business? Thank you.
Well, look, we're not economists, so we certainly point of view about where the economy is going, and that is one of the factors we consider when we build guidance.
Your next question comes from the line of Matthew Cost with Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for taking the question. Strauss, there's a comment you made in the prepared remarks about your expectation to sustain higher levels of scale going forward. Just given the potential for Grand Theft Auto's performance this year, that's a high bar to clear going forward. So as investors think about the opportunity to sustain your scale off of that base, how should they think about the mix between just an ongoing significant revenue contribution from Grand Theft Auto versus the pipeline that you went into some good detail in the prepared remarks discussing? And then I have one follow-up. Thank you.
So it reminds me of my SATs. It's box D, all of the above.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your next question comes from the line of James Heaney with Jefferies. Please go ahead.
Yeah, great. Maybe just diving in again on mobile. It's just been impressive to see continued growth of Toon Blast and Match Factory as kind of the biggest drivers for the segment. I was just hoping you could go into some detail about the unique drivers across those franchises that you think had sort of enabled them to continue growing this far after the initial launch.
Well, actually very different. So Toon Blast has been around for a really long time. Match Factory is relatively new. So Match Factory last year was still in growth mode, and we projected that it would moderate, and we'll see what actually happens. Toon Blast is a legacy title.
He's over here glazing fucking mobile like he always does.
Consumers who are involved are getting more and more involved. And that's a reflection of the content that Peak is putting into the game and offers that are made to consumers. So basically, with regard to the legacy title, where you may not have a sharp growth curve on DAUs, you will have an effort to actually serve the consumers we have much more effectively. I think that's what you're seeing in Toon Blast. Match Factory is still in pretty steep early. It's not that old a title, so it's very different. We need to be muscular in both areas. We need to be able to run our live services businesses really well for a long, long time. And Zynga does a phenomenal job of that. But by the way, so does Rockstar, right? GTA Online is a live services business. It's 13 years old. That Online is a legacy live services business. So NBA 2K Online is a live services business. And we have to do everything well here. It's what makes this place an exciting place to work. We've got a pipeline of frontline titles. We've got to turn them into hits. We don't always succeed, but we have to try. We have a live services business that I just mentioned. We have to optimize those across both mobile, console, and PC, and of course we have a catalog. And when you add it all up, and we do a good job across the board, you kind of year that we got last year, and we now expect to make a meaningful step up. Obviously driven largely by the launch of GTA 6, but also driven by performance of the rest of the business. And then we expect to set that as a new base from which to grow, and that's a reflection of firing on all cylinders. Undoubtedly, we'll have some lapses along the way. We don't know where the lapses will be, but if history's any guide, we'll also have some titles that will meaningfully beat expectations going forward. And part of our three-part strategy of being the most creative, the most innovative, and the most efficient is indeed to be the most innovative. And if you look at the history of the company, we've been a leader in innovations, whether that's cross-development or marketing. And I have no doubt in the coming years we'll be able to innovate further. And I don't know exactly what form that'll take, but I would just note that this company doesn't look anything like it did 19 years ago, despite still being in the interactive entertainment business. Lots of what we do here didn't even exist back then. And this industry, never mind the company, is still on a sharp growth curve in terms of its cohort of engaged consumers and the opportunities to do new things and bring those new things to people in new ways.
Helpful context. Thank you.
Your next question comes from the line of Jason Bazinet with Citi. Please go ahead.
I just had a quick historical question. In the past, when you've been confronted with, these big titles like, I don't know, whether it's GTA 4 or 5 or the last two Red Deads, how accurate would you say your firm, your management team was in terms of predicting, how well these titles would do? Were there some that sort of disappointed or others that really beat, or were they sort of all within a pretty tight confidence interval in terms of your own internal expectations?
So with regard to the titles you mentioned, as it happened, they all performed better than we had expected. But we've had plenty of other titles that disappointed, candidly. Thankfully, not of late.
Okay.
And they tend to be few and far between. But it would not be accurate to say that our expectations are always exceeded, not accurate in the least. And that's why, we are, I think, appropriately humble around here. This is the entertainment business. It is unforgiving. We try our hardest. We do not always succeed.
Understood. Thank you for that color.
Your next question comes from the line of Alec Brundolo with Wells Fargo. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hey, thanks so much for the question. I appreciate it. I think I want to maybe try to ask Colin Sebastian's question in a little bit of a different way. I think that there's been a lot of conversations in the industry over the last several months about the growth of Roblox, the growth of lower price games on Steam and the $10 to $20 price point. It seems like it's mostly driven by younger gamers. Obviously Take-Two doesn't participate meaningfully in those categories. You have, a couple of lower price games in the $50 range like Mafia. I think the question is what is the level of confidence that the newer cohort of gamers will graduate into more premium AAA experiences over time? I think the question is the young person that's playing Roblox, are they going to want to play $80 Grand Theft Auto 6 when they grow up, or might they be habituated onto lower fidelity titles? Any thoughts there would be helpful.
So actually, it's the contrary. When entertainment properties are aimed at children, I don't know if you have children, but right around the age of 10 or 11, they do not want to be children anymore. They want to be teenagers. So one of the issues, and this is not by way of being critical of anyone else in the industry, but one of the issues with children's programming, whether that's linear entertainment or interactive entertainment, is that children reach a certain point, they don't want to be engaged with kids programming anymore, even if it's appealing to them. So it's not that a certain kind of kids-oriented interactive entertainment is necessarily a feeder to what we do in certain parts of this company. Remember, we also do make plenty of entertainment around here that's available for all audiences. But with regard to our M-rated titles, it's not necessarily the case that something else is a feeder to it. It's a different business. But it is a business that is only available if you're 17 or above. And I think if you engage with interactive entertainment and you're 17 or above, it's very difficult for me to imagine that you wouldn't be incredibly interested in our M-rated titles, specifically one that is coming up.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
Your next question comes from the line of Eric Sheridan with Goldman Sachs. Please go ahead.
Thanks so much for taking the question. Maybe building on two of the topics we've talked about on the call so far, with respect to mobile advertising and building additional optimization around user acquisition, how are you thinking about the signals as more mobile advertising becomes driven by AI and machine learning with respect to either being able to deploy more dollars at a higher return on ad spend or possibly becoming more efficient with respect to advertising? And possibly a quick follow-up.
Well, we certainly try to do that. We work with AppLovin, and we are trying to optimize, of course, our return on ad spend. And sometimes things are going really well in the market. Other times we're frustrated in the market, depending on what's going on. There have been moments, for example, when we really couldn't get out there and spend because we could not find inventory at a price that made sense. There are other times when we can do that. That changes. It's our job to make sure that we understand the payback period on what we're spending, and we have very tight guidelines about that. But you have to be on top of it all the time, because when you spend money in mobile, as you know, you're spending it based on an expectation, and you'll earn it back over a period of time. That expectation is based on prior history, but prior history isn't always dispositive with regard to what happens in the future. So we are constantly, on a daily basis, tuning up our models that will inform how we spend money on user acquisition. As I said, sometimes it's greater, sometimes it's lower. We also have this weird anomaly, which I'm sure you're aware of, which is if we're out of the UA business for a period of time because we don't like it, of course we make more money because there's no UA that's spent that comes back the same day in its entirety. Sometimes we have really quick payback periods. We have experiences where the payback period has been as quick as 90 days, and I don't think we talk publicly about our expectations around the payback period in general. But let's just say I think we're more conservative than most. To answer your question, are there new opportunities to be more efficient in this area? Yes, I believe so. And of course, it's not lost on anyone that after Apple changed their attribution characteristics, the entire industry was challenged. But you can see from our own results with Zynga last year that we have surmounted those challenges, and we feel pretty good about how the business operates now.
Great. And if I could just ask one more, with respect to your approach to go-to-market with DTC, any new learnings about what the opportunity set might look like or the ceiling of that opportunity might be to grow the percentage of mix from DTC over time? Thanks so much.
But look, I've been saying for a long time that I thought both sort of the competitive landscape and the regulatory landscape would be favorable with regard to our overall distribution costing and taking as part of our overall distribution costs, our D2C cost, which is materially lower than third-party costs, but multiplied by the share of market related to DTC. And we have said that that share has been growing. We have not talked about what percent it is or where it's going. What we want to make sure, though, is two things. Number one, we want to be where the consumer is. The goal of this company is not to control distribution. The goal of this company is to make hits and bring them to consumers wherever they are, however they want them, and of course to do so on economic terms. We value our third-party retailers greatly. We especially value them when they provide marketing opportunities for us. And we understand that there's a value in the marketing that third-party retailers can provide, and that would intersect with how much they charge us for access to their consumers. So the more value a third-party retailer provides to us from a marketing point of view, the more comfortable we are working with them. At the same time, there is a role for direct-to-consumer opportunities. For us, it's all of the above.
Your next question comes from the line of Mike Hickey with StoneX. Please go ahead.
Hey, Strauss, Carl, Laney, Nicole, congrats, guys, on a great year and a great guide. Very exciting. Just two questions, Strauss. First, I think you referenced before being astonished by Rockstar's marketing creativity. Clearly, they've got precedent there. Can you talk, I guess, philosophically about how Rockstar thinks about building anticipation for a game launch of this scale, and how beneficial that marketing effort can be in terms of sustaining or even building demand for around the current GTA ecosystem, and if that ancillary benefit is baked into your guidance? Follow-up.
Well, look, thanks for the question. I'm obviously not going to go into detail. What we've said about marketing GTA 6 is that marketing will start this summer, and as you know, any information around releases and marketing comes from our labels. And
did you just hear that? Hold on. Did you just hear what he just said? I'm gonna play it one more time.
Releases and marketing comes from our labels. And question, I'm obviously not going to go into detail. What we've said about marketing GTA 6 is that marketing will start this summer, and
all the information comes from the direct labels. Like, once again, it's been reiterated that we're not going to get anything until it actually comes from Rockstar Games. It has to come from Rockstar Games. It's the only way.
As you know, any information around releases and marketing comes from our labels, and that shouldn't be news to you. That said, do we see in any release, no matter how highly anticipated it is, both the need to market the title and the opportunity in marketing the title? We do. And I was asked about this earlier, and because I absolutely refuse to use a title of ours as an example. I use someone else's, and I said, so there's a new release of Mission Impossible, and it's starring Tom Cruise. Like, we all know what that looks like. I, for one, am going to see that movie. Like, I'm going to see that movie. But Paramount still spends a whole lot of money to market that, to make sure that people know it's out and it's great and it's worth seeing. And I think that's the story of the entertainment business. So, I don't think there's any situation where one can expect to have a massive hit and not engage heavily in the marketing. And, I think that will be true for this company across the board. And I think, again, across the board, actually, I think this company does spectacular marketing. And, whatever we did last year, we got to do better this year. Whatever we do this year, we got to do better next year. We demand it of ourselves, and frankly, the market demands it of us.
Yeah, so there you have it. What he just said, too, and I kind of sped it up, is that it wouldn't matter if it's the biggest title in the world. You still market it. You still let people know it's out there. Still give them details. Just let people know what's going on, even if everyone knows. Apparently, Rockstar Games just is not ready yet. So, still going to wait a little bit longer.
Nice. On AI, Strauss, not to be redundant, you gave a really thorough answer, but maybe just for clarification, do you feel like at this point you've got broad buy-in from your studio leadership around the use of AI tools, not just in marketing, but in game development? And when you think about these tools over time, I know you're doing a lot in terms of investing in product tools related to AI. Do you think this will allow you and your studio teams to unlock maybe some dormant franchise IP or even new IP that may not have been produced over the last decade plus due to resource constraints? And if that's the case, would you look to build headcount into that opportunity? Thank you.
I think that everyone is bought into the possibilities of new technology. And I think there are times when some of my colleagues think I'm too conservative on the topic. I've actually never been accused internally of going too fast or doing crazy stuff. I think I probably err on the side of being a little more conservative. Think about it. The people who are on the front lines of developing here are absolute experts in software, in art, and video games. And the way they got the job to work at a company like this is because they were on the front lines and because they were innovating and they were highly creative and because they were efficient. So you have to assume that they're going to be the first people to embrace new technology that allows them to do a better job. That said, we're known for making these beautiful handcrafted titles around here. And any technology that we use, I think, will be in the hands of immensely creative people and will take the form of handcrafting. Our art is created in computers. It always has been. But our art is created by human beings using computers. And I believe that will continue to be the case.
Your next question comes from the line of Brian Pitts with BMO Capital Markets. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the questions. I'll try a couple here. Any additional color you can provide on GTA 6 around your framework for the PC release, as well as if the game, has any chance of being cross-platform? Also, any best estimates on when we could see a pre-sale launch for the game? If not, perhaps you could at least provide your best guesstimate of timing on hearing more of these details. Thanks.
Yeah, as you know, look, the PC market's a great market, and it's growing for console type titles, and it's a market we serve avidly. And virtually all of our hit titles end up on all platforms over time. That said, Rockstar Games has announced GTA 6 for console only so far, and we're excited about our November 19th release.
Rockstar Games has only announced GTA 6 for PS5 and the Xbox Series so far. But all other hit titles all eventually always end up on PC. And pretty much said all their titles pretty much end up on on every single platform eventually over time. But yeah, for starters, the game's obviously only coming out for, console.
Thank you.
Your next question comes from the line of Ron Song with Wolf Research. Please go ahead.
I don't even know what that is.
Hey guys, thanks for the question. Just turning back to NBA.
NBA.
I know Laney talked about the fourth quarter, but as we look at fiscal 27 and lapping that 30% RCS growth, I guess, is there anything you can share, breakdown on what gives you the line of sight to being able to sustain a high single digits? I guess I'm really trying to get at how you think about the stage of growth for monetization and engagement for the basketball franchise, noting what Carl said about the state team comment. Thanks.
So we're incredibly proud of NBA 2K's fiscal 2026 record-breaking results, and we're applying the successful learnings to our strategy for this year, including within NBA 2K27. And while fiscal 2026 set records, we have a consistent track record of delivering strong, sustainable RCS growth and are confident in doing so in fiscal 2027. So, when VC looks at the game each year, they just do not, sort of rest on their laurels. They continue to make this game bigger and better every year, and we've seen that time and time again.
Your next question comes from the line of Martin Yang with Oppenheimer. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for taking my question. I have one question on mobile. Zynga has meaningful presence in Turkey with Rollic and Peak. Can you maybe comment on whether those studios have benefited from the local government policy that favors developers that was released?
So obviously we've had a lot of great success in the Turkish market from a development perspective. Some of our biggest and best titles or studios are in Turkey. We have a fantastic relationship with our developers there, and we love being in that environment. In terms of sort of the government influence and the government opportunities, to the extent that there are opportunities available in any jurisdiction where we operate, we would take advantage of those as much as we possibly can. Local jurisdictions are very important business partners to us, and it's something that we take very seriously because it's an opportunity. It's not only good for us, but it's also good for the local markets.
Your next question comes from the line of Omar Dessouky with Bank of America. Please go ahead.
You should charge a GTA 6 for 80.
Thanks for taking my question. So Strauss, I was in the audience at a conference you spoke at recently, and you made a couple of comments that really caught my attention. So one comment was that you would price your games to reflect the value that they provide for consumers. And then a second comment was that the retail price of video games has gone down in real terms over the years. So do your comments imply that you also believe a $70 price tag would be too low for GTA 6 relative to its value to consumers? Because by that logic, a $70 price tag implies to me that the consumer value of GTA 6 will also go down. Now, if I've misheard your comments, I apologize. However, if my logic is flawed, then what would a $70 price tag imply about the consumer value of GTA 6 relative to its predecessor?
Damn! That's crazy that Bank of America shows up and they make it all about the price of GTA 6. No different than what was going on recently when Bank of America says GTA 6 should be 80 in order to encourage the industry to raise game prices. I'm just saying, I find that so fascinating that they just show up to the earnings call in, and it's like, hey, yeah, about that GTA 6 price. So, we doing it for 80 or what's up? I mean, if they're over here selling fucking Mafia for 50, like, what are you going to sell GTA for? They're over here selling the new fucking shit-ass Madden game every year for 70. Like, is GTA a shit-ass game too? I don't know. I think that's interesting, and I'm not really that surprised. It's just funny that Bank of America is definitely, like, campaigning hard to get the price of GTA 6 above 70. So the rest of the industry has an amazing excuse to follow suit.
I think what I was trying to get at was on real terms, video games have become a better and better deal for consumers over a period of time, and that's a good thing. So I don't think the comments are in conflict. In other words, if you can give people something really great and you can offer it on really favorable economic terms, that's a win-win. So I was really trying to make the point that even though I think the value has grown materially, certainly a video game released today is vastly more exciting, compelling, intriguing, and longer lasting entertainment than it was when I was at Crystal Dynamics in 1993. But in real terms, frontline prices have declined. I was using that as a backdrop to point out that we think that the most important thing is to deliver the best entertainment on earth. And then the second most important thing is to do it on really favorable economic terms. But I didn't mean to guide in any way, how you should think about our upcoming unannounced price on any release. That'll become clear to the market in the fullness of time. Whatever it is, though, we want it to represent enormous value to the consumer.
There you have it again. We are not going to comment on the price of GTA 6. That will come from Rockstar Games when it's ready. And whatever the price that may be, we are down to support it, even if it's a price tag of $70.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Your next question comes from the line of Clay Griffin with MoffettNathanson LLC. Please go ahead.
Thanks. Good afternoon. You all had such success with, I think you coined the phrase actually, tethered free to play with GTA Online. It helped you sell full game units, and full game unit sales helped onboard people onto GTA Online. I know the industry has changed a lot over the years, but and you haven't announced any pricing or packaging as it relates to this topic. But just curious if there are dynamics, evolutions in the industry that would make that decision different than the decision you so successfully used with GTA 5 and GTA Online, the tethered free-to-play strategy.
I think, of course, not having announced any online version for GTA 6, it certainly would be premature to talk about, an upcoming business model for something that we haven't talked about.
Again, we are not going to talk about GTA 6. It's unannounced. Just wait for Rockstar Games. They'll be the ones to talk about it.
But I think conceptually, what we pride ourselves on here is being thoughtful and open-minded, and trying to meet consumers where they are and trying to optimize the entertainment experience for those consumers. And that's what we've been talking about a lot on this call. When it really comes down to it, what does this company think about? 24/7, what do I think about? I think about making sure that this is an enterprise that more so than any other entertainment enterprise on earth focuses on making hit properties that excite and engage consumers. That's what we all think about. Right now, I'm in a room with, our staff, right? In this room, we're staff executives, right? The IR team, the finance team, the operations team, legal team. But our job, we don't make the titles here. We don't market them, not in this room, not the room that's talking to you today. But our mission is to make great entertainment properties. And if we get that right as an organization, all 14,000 people, full-time colleagues and contractors associated with TTWO and our affiliates focus on making the best entertainment on earth, then everything else will take care of itself. Naturally, we have to be the the most thoughtful people, the most aggressive people with regard to marketing and distribution. And by the way, legal activities, finance activities, accounting activities, tax activities as well. That's our job. The mission of the organization is to make great entertainment. And having spent a long time in every entertainment business there is, I can tell you one thing: hits cure all ills. Make great hits over and over and over again. You're gonna have a great enterprise. And we're so proud of everything this company does, and we're so proud of the culture in which we do it. But if we don't get up every day and make hits, none of that matters. So that's our job. That's what we focus on. And frankly, the results that we're talking about today and the guidance that we gave you for tomorrow, all of that is based on having made hits, having delivered hits, and an expectation that we are going to bless you, and an expectation that we're going to continue doing just that at a higher and higher level.
Your next question comes from the line of Drew Crum of B. Riley Securities. Please go ahead.
Okay, thanks. Hey guys, good afternoon. So looking at your net bookings guidance, how, if in any way, is potential cannibalization from GTA 6 influencing your view or range of outcomes you see for fiscal 27? Thanks.
Look, cannibalization doesn't really apply to the entertainment business. In the entertainment business, you compete against everything. You compete against your competitors. You compete against yourselves. You compete against nothing. The choice to do nothing. So if you're in the grocery business, like, everyone needs to eat. So you're competing with the grocery store next door. But with regard to entertainment, if there's something that you want in the market and then there's something else that you want, you'll try to buy both. And if there's nothing that you want, you won't buy either. So there's no one-to-one cannibalization. And in fact, history shows that when there's a big hit in the market, you know what it does? Energizes consumers around the entertainment market, and they consume more. So I actually think if we're fortunate enough to have the kind of year that we expect, maybe we'll even do a little better than we expect. That's not just going to be good for Take-Two and our labels. It's going to be good for the industry as a whole.
Thanks, Strauss.
That concludes our question and answer session. I will now turn the call back to Strauss Zelnick for closing remarks.
Well, I've spoken an awful lot today, and as you pointed out, I've been at a bunch of conferences lately too, so maybe no one needs to hear any more than me, more from me. I would like to say this though: we delivered great results that we talked about today, and we set a guidance that reflects great results going forward. All of that comes from our colleagues around the world. So I want to take a minute to express this management team's enormous gratitude and my personal gratitude to our creative teams, our marketing teams, and our distribution teams, and our finance teams and our operations teams all over the world, more than 100 offices around the world, if I'm not mistaken, who work incredibly hard in an incredibly dedicated way to support our collective mission. All of this is because of their work. I get to organize the victory lap. So thank you to our team. And then I'd like to take a moment also to thank our shareholders and everyone who supports us and the people who attended this call. It's always nice to have a good news call, and we're really happy to share it with you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's call. Thank you all for joining. You may now disconnect.
Honestly, like it is with every earnings call, the Q&A just really is not even significant, okay? I honestly don't even really care about the Q&A. It's just a bunch of investors like Wells Fargo, Bank of America, JP Morgan, Chase, Raymond James, Edward Jones, just all these investment firms, and only investment firms, people that probably are the big investors of this company, they are the ones that call in. And even if it's a question about GTA 6, you don't get anything anyways. They just say, Rockstar Games will be the one to make these announcements, and just that's all it is. The only really important thing that I find out of the earnings calls is just seeing like release dates and stuff. All the other details are about just their financials, obviously. Good details here tells a story, and I'm a little interested in their company. Hearing about their cash on hand, and just all that. But the big takeaway is definitely just the release date of GTA 6 staying the same. Wasn't really experiencing much out of the Q&A. I already knew what it was. It's now the 9th or 10th time I've hung out on an earnings call. And on the previous few earnings calls, I don't even like bother with the Q&A. Like, once you've heard one Q&A, you've heard every Q&A. You know what I mean? Like, we already know what to get out of the Q&A. Like, I'm totally cool just listening in on the intro and the speaker's remarks. But the Q&A, like, I don't know what people think the Q&A about to be. People are about to ask about mobile and NBA, and even if they ask about GTA 6, Strauss, even Laney was just like, Rockstar Games isn't ready to announce anything, and, they'll announce it when they're ready. And Strauss, just same thing. You know, you're not going to get really anything out of them. They're not going to go over Rockstar's heads. They're going to let Rockstar do it. Pretty cool. So I don't know, that was the earnings call that I didn't finish yesterday, and there was nothing to really finish. I don't know. I figured, like, I already knew that too. That's why I don't really bother with the Q&A section. Like, I don't know why people sit around with the Q&A section thinking they're about to get stuff. You didn't even get you didn't get prices or nothing, even though people are asking about prices. You just got nothing. Nothing was given. But I'm not surprised, though. I'm not surprised nothing was given. Because that's literally how it goes every single earnings call. People literally blatantly straight up ask about Grand Theft Auto 6 details, straight to Strauss Selnick, and they think, like, it never fails. Like, they always ask, and they literally think, like, oh, this earnings call will be different. This is a different earnings call. And then they get the same answer every single time. Like, oh, yeah, we're not Rockstar Games, so we're not going to tell you about that. We don't have anything to say about that. But, you know, when Rockstar Games is ready, they will surely tell you more all about that. All right, I'm pretty much done with this live stream. I'm going to go live tomorrow. I'm going to go to work today, but I got the weekend off. I don't work on the weekends. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do tomorrow, which is Saturday, and I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do on Sunday. But I do have a lot of free time this weekend, especially if the weather isn't going to be awesome and it's just going to be rainy and stuff, you know. It might just be the kind of weather where you just kind of stay indoors. So I'm not sure what the plan of action is as far as this weekend goes with live streaming or something, but we'll figure it out. And like I said, I'm sorry I didn't go live a lot earlier at like 6 a.m. or something. I showed up around 2, like 8 hours late. But can you blame me? I literally went to work like 2 days ago, got off at 3 a.m., which was pretty much yesterday morning, waited around 3 hours, went live at 6, and we went live like for 9 hours or whatever. We went live that whole time just talking about the earnings call and whatever else. That was a good time yesterday. And then I went back to work. Like, work, off, stream, back to work. Like, holy crap, lack of sleep. So, you know, I had to sleep. Like, that's one of the flaws of life, I guess. You know, having to go to sleep. What a waste of time that shit is. Just kidding. That'll catch up with you. So, no, we'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll see, like, if I go live or, like, what happens. I need to like charge my phone for a little bit. Try to keep the juice up. Yeah, yesterday was cool. The whole stream in general is kind of cool. And I noticed that pretty much about every single one of these like things. Like there's a lot of energy prior to it. Like I really enjoyed the earnings call as a whole. But I feel like people like get to the earnings call and then they just like get disappointed. Because they sit around hearing all these details about Zynga and shit, and then it's like they're mad because they're not just rambling about GTA 6 from start to finish. I was even surprised by some of the comments recently too, like people were like confused why it's even a Take-Two earnings call, like they were calling it like a Rockstar earnings call. It's like, that's not what that is. It's still exciting, though, regardless. Really exciting stuff. Live streams like events and stuff are always among my favorites, and they always do the best. Like when we sit around waiting for trailer 3 or something, or or it's an event, like an earnings call. Or the 27 Theory or the Moon stream. I'm usually pretty vigilant and I understand stuff like that. It's very wise to go live for events and all that stuff. People like that stuff. And those are the kind of live streams that do the best. And even for like YouTubers in general, like it does well for all of us. Like those are the kind of live streams where just everybody shows up. Everybody. Even like a bunch of new people will show up. I'll walk out of the live stream with like hundreds of new subscribers. People that weren't even on my channel before the live stream began. It's always so cool to see that. So yeah, we'll always go live during earnings calls and stuff. I bet you this coming Tuesday could be interesting. I could just go live really early. We just wonder if they do anything on May 26th, or we just like reminisce about what the 26th could have been. Technically, the 26th, May 26th, was the original release date. We could have already been playing Grand Theft Auto 6 in like 4 days. The original release date of GTA 6 is literally 4 days away. So Tuesday is still going to be a pretty cool day. Past Tuesday, though, I'm not really sure. You can't just like really fake events. Like every Tuesday can't just be Trailer 3 day. After Tuesday, we are going to be at the point where we're just going to kind of have to wait for Rockstar Games anyways. And I mean, it's always been like that. We've always kind of had to wait for Rockstar Games. Everybody just kind of has these assumptions on what Rockstar Games should do. Also, if it includes details that they've done before. Like, if they've done something before, they should just do it again. Every time. But yeah, I'll try to come up with something cool for tomorrow. I don't know if we can sit around and just do like a GTA 6 stream. I think all the latest and greatest GTA 6 deals have been pretty much established. I wonder if I should do like a GTA 6 podcast. Go live, do like a GTA 6 discussion, just let a bunch of the community or something come in and speak like we do sometimes. Even kind of like how we were doing that yesterday. I let a handful of people like come on to Discord call. And I always find that so fascinating, like where some of these people come from. I don't know, I'll figure something out though. Like my mind's pretty open as far as like doing YouTube goes, like live streaming or whatever. GTA 6 mapping, project exploration, and just anything. Even playing through a game. Online multiplayer. Like, we definitely have lots of things we can do, I mean, if we really want to. Alright, unfortunately, just because of how life goes, I gotta head out, like, pretty much right about now. I gotta go to work. Now, I usually have Fridays off, but unfortunately, I work a job where there's, like, a lot of mandatory overtime pretty often, it seems. I should only be working Monday to Thursday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Every single one of them should be off, but there's been a lot of overtime going on, which isn't much to cry about, because you get more money that way, I suppose. But yeah, I will definitely see you guys tomorrow. The plan is to definitely go live this weekend. I just don't know what the plan is, though. Like, what the plan of action is. Like, what live stream am I doing? We'll see. Let me get this airborne real quick. We should get Will Mack on a podcast? Yeah, maybe. I don't believe he'll actually do it, though. Because, I don't know. I just somewhat sideways on the fence feel like I'm not in the cool kids club. Like, some of these GTA 6 YouTubers, it feels like they have this, like, pre-assumed cool kids club. Like, YouTube sometimes is very competitive. Like, people will be nice to you, but they don't really fuck with you like that. Like, they might be friendly with you if you show up to their live stream because that's just a speak of their character. Maybe. Or they're just being nice. But it doesn't really equal, like, they'll hang out with you on the weekend and come over to the cookout and, like, play video games with you. You know, they don't fuck with you like that. Even if they just are nice to you in public. Because, you know, sometimes people, it's okay to be nice, you know. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I'm not totally buying that I'll just hit up Will Mac and, oh yeah, fuck yeah, dude, I'll come podcast with you. I don't know. I just don't know if I'm in the cool kids club. There's probably not room for everybody who does GTA little content. They probably have their few select little friend group and they just like keep it like really close, tight knit. If that makes sense. And the thing that kind of tells me that is their little 6hub website. Like, there's a whole category on there called creators. And there's only, like, specific creators in there. And one of them, for example, is, like, Dark Viper ain't there. You know what I mean? And Dark Viper's definitely a GTA creator. Dark Viper will definitely be doing GTA 6 content. But the problem is, you know, you got Cyberboy in this on this little 6hub website as a creator. Then you also got like TGG. It's like, that's what I'm saying, you know, they got their own, it seems like they got their own little small group of like friends, and that's where it begins and that's where it ends. Like they got their own little cool kids club. And not everybody is allowed in the cool kids club. Now, I might be wrong about that. But just as on the outside looking in and just, you know, their little 6hub website, which I think is fantastic, their little creators section kind of gives me those details on they got their own little cool kids club. And not everybody is allowed in their little cool kids club. That's just the way it seems anyways. In my opinion. Alright, I gotta get out of here, everybody. That's the conclusion of this live stream. Didn't even need to do this live stream. I knew the Q&A wasn't gonna be anything special. I mostly just wanted to slowly browse through like what Lainey was saying and stuff. Like, she threw so many details yesterday, like, I could barely like take it all in. So many details. I could barely like even keep up and follow along. It was crazy. I just wanted to rehear what she was saying. Alright, I'm out. I gotta go. I'll see you all later in the next one. Peace. The next one is tomorrow or something. Probably get off work and I'll like go to sleep for a little bit, you know? Actually get some rest so I can have like a decently long live stream. Alright, I'm out. Goodbye.